Hi everyone, it's Catherine from Singing Through the Rain, and I wanted to teach you today on how to make professional images for your blog. I only use PicMonkey, and I get asked a lot, like, how do you make your images? And it's really very easy, and I see a lot of bloggers struggle with this, especially clients of mine, and it really is easy. And so I wanted to make this video to show you just how easy it is to make professional images and several different kinds as well. So I am getting up PicMonkey, and I'm going to go and find an image that I have previously downloaded. Currently, I've been getting my photos from Dollar Photo Club, but they are closing in just a few weeks, and so I'm going to be using something different. But wherever you get your photos, make sure that they are for commercial use and blog use. Whether you pay or you find free images for the blog or whatever. So I uploaded an image, and what I'm going to do is get some text, because down here we have a lot of white space. So we don't need an overlay. So I came down here to the little T's, and that's where we're going to add text. Now I see this a lot with a lot of images on Pinterest and on blog sites, and a lot of people will just slap text on, but you want it to look nice, you want it to look professional. And so when you are typing out a title, to make it stand out, I like to use different colors and different types of font, but not too much, because you want it to be eye-catching. So I'm just going to make up a blog post right now. Okay, so we're just going to start with this. I like to center my text. Usually if I have a number in there, I will start by making that a different color. And instead of using the color options up here, the best way to make a cohesive image with colors that match is to click on this little black stripe right here, and you're going to get a little dropper. And then I come over here and I use that dropper to pick the colors that I want. And as you can see, if I wanted to match the blue in his shirt, I only have to move it around a bit. If I wanted the orange, I would just come over here to her pants. I could use the green, the pretty cute pink heart, stuff like that. I actually like the blue, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to play around with your size. You want your text to be easy to read, bright, eye-catching. And I'm going to move it right here. And what I do when I have an image is I play around with it a lot. I keep, trying different things until I find something that I think works. So when I do this, I always try to find one word that I think needs to stand out, and that will be a different type of text from the rest. So this is going to be all one text. It's all centered, actually. And keep in mind, if you do mess up, you can just use these buttons up here, and it will take you back or forward as many times as you want. So if you do feel like you've messed up, you just have to play around with that. So usually if I'm going to pick one word to stand out, I will do that in some type of script font, and I will make the rest of the title more of a professional font. My computer. All right, there we go. So I'm going to choose that one, and then I'm going to go back to PicMonkey's fonts. That's not what I wanted. All right, and now I'm going to use weekend. as my text to stand out. All right. And I don't know what happened with this. We wanted a different font. Sometimes PicMonkey can get a little glitchy, but so for that, I make sure that I try to have, a lot of my tabs closed if I'm gonna do some images, because otherwise it's gonna be hard. So as you can see, the 25 stands out. It's a different color and font. The family activities is a nice professional font, and then weekend makes it stand out. And it's gonna really depend on you as to like what word you want to stand out. But here you see it's a nice professional image. It's vertical, so it's great for Pinterest. You could play around with it and move the font around different ways. Because the sand here is considered a lot of white space, I wouldn't put a overlay on it, but I'm going to show you how in case you decided you want to. So we're going to pick a white overlay, and that is where the butterflies are. And because I already have the text on, I'm going to tap, double tap, and we're going to send it back so it's behind the text. And then this is how you would do an overlay. And now it's up to you if you just want to do a horizontal or if you want to cover the whole bottom. And then if you want to fade it, you can use this handy dandy tool. Now, I see a lot of people fading stuff a lot, and sometimes it looks good, and other times it's so hard to read the text. And so I don't recommend that you use the fade on the overlay a lot. Now, when you're doing images for your blog or website, you want to make sure that you have your website name on it. So, and you don't want it to be overpowering to your image. You just want to make sure that it's there and that others know whose image this is. So I use the blue again, and I'm going to make this even smaller. Because again, yes, you want it on there, but you don't want it to be overpowering. You just want it on there in case someone wants to use that to make your website. Now, let's say you decided that you didn't like some of the white space on this side. So we're going to come down here over to overlays again. And we're going to kind of play around and see what else we could add to make this look good. So a lot of people like to use the arrows, and you can play around with these by switching these. So if you wanted the arrow to point up, you can click that, and now it's pointed up. If you wanted the arrow to point the other way, you would click the arrows, and now you have an arrow that points the other way. I'm not sure what happened here. All right. One thing I liked to sometimes do is if you pull the arrow so that it's on either side, now you don't see the arrow and you can use the fun dots and lines. However, they are larger and it takes up a lot. Another thing you can do is these fun overlays, and I would want to use them. Let's see. So this one, it doesn't let you switch it to vertical, so I'm going to make it vertical. And as you can see, it can kind of help you see where your stuff is. But, so if you want to make it small, you just bring in the arrows, move it around. You could choose another color to put in here. And I'm going to make this one. if you wanted to make these a different color. Oops. And there's a lot of overlays to choose from. You just want to make sure that whatever size you do on one side, that you try to make it the same on the other. So there you go, less white space. I don't know if I would exactly use those, but it's one option. I also like to use the garnishes and flourishes because, again, you can use these to just add a little bit of something to your image. And so if you pull it, it's going to get bigger. If you, we're going to go back. If you turn it, you can use it again on the sides where our white space is. If you pull it in, it will get smaller. And as you can see, it looks kind of funny here, but again, it's something that could be used if you wanted it to. So I'm going to come over here to garnishes, and I'm going to choose something light. And I think I'm going to pull the green color for this because I like that, and I feel like it needs some more color. And as you can see, now we've used these garnishes. I'm going to change that. Let's see. We'll do that so that they're kind of opposite. And again, if sometimes it's hard to find that same green. Yeah, I went over here, but as you can see, the green on the right is a little bit darker. So if you're having a hard time finding it again, I try to use the same green that I've already used over there. Now, as you can see, now we don't have as much white space. It's up to you if you think it takes away too much from the text. You know, you might only want to use one instead of two. You might want to play with the text and move it over. It's all in how you want to do it. So now I'm going to show you how to do a different type of image. And this one is using collage. So you probably have seen these on Pinterest, especially for recipes. And I am going to use some photos. Let's see. Let's see if we can find. All right. So we're going to use this image and this image. Now with collage, you have to upload at least one image, and you can always add more later. Now, a lot of times people will use this so that they can show the same recipe or same picture, but like at a different angle or for a different aspect of the same type of picture. I uploaded 2 different pictures, but I think you'll get the point here in a minute. All right. So what we're going to do is play around with this a little bit. As you can see, as you pull it wide, it will bring in the pictures a little bit closer. And you can move these around too, so you get more of a picture. Now, as you can see, there's some white text in the middle, but it's a vertical pin, and it's longer than you would get in without doing a collage, which I like. Now, if you come down here, you can choose the spacing between the photos. I don't like big. You want to be able to see your pictures. So kind of like it with the way they had it. You can choose the color. So let's say I decided I wanted to have this green color. To make it professional, I always choose, white or black. So we'll stick with white, but that is how you can kind of play around with that. Now, instead of saving, we're going to click Edit. And that means we're not going to be able to edit the pictures now. However, we're going to be able to edit to add text. So let's see. Let's see. Recipes can't. And so let's see, we're going to make the text a little bit shorter. We're going to bring this in. And as you can see, I kind of like the black text, but then we're going to use our 2 to stand out. All right, and I'm going to use this yellow, I think. We'll see how that looks. All right, and we're going to pick a different font. And again, you've probably seen these on Pinterest too. That kind of shows you how to get these 2 pictures together. And of course, you can put in more, but I like the 2 because you're able to see close up. And see, I'm playing around with the text to kind of see what looks good. And so for this, I would probably move this up. And I'm going to use a different overlay. I'm going to use the lines. Let's see. And I might just use this fun green. And I'm going to make sure to add my blog name. Center it. Now, if you are having trouble centering your text, make sure you hit the middle button so that the text is centered, and then center the text like this by moving it, and it will automatically put it in the middle. So I like to line it up with the edges of my image, and now I know for sure that it's centered. And again, you can play around with it. You can change it to a different color. You can use some of the colors you already have. And there you go. You have a beautiful image that looks professional, and it's bright and eye-catching. One thing that I did forget to mention is when you first upload an image for your blog, there's a way to brighten it. So that it looks really nice. And yes, you can use the exposure and colors, but a lot of times, especially if it's a stock photo, you don't need to do all that. And so here's what you do. You come down to the little lipstick thing, scroll down to eye brighten, and we're going to use the biggest brush. Sometimes it's a little slow. And we only want to lighten just a little bit. I wouldn't go over, it depends on the image for me, but I don't usually go over 20. And most of the time I don't even do that. So here's our little brush, and watch what happens. I am brightening up the floor. And right now I'm only going around because I remember with this image, if I brightened everything, sometimes it doesn't look right. So you kind of have to play around with it. And as you can see, it's starting to brighten up. And I like it because it just brought a kind of dark image to more eye-catching. We're going to see what it looks like to brighten the whole photo. If you're choosing to brighten the whole photo, then just go ahead and go over it. I kind of am not sure about how bright this is right here, so I'm going to go back. Let's see. Right there. Okay. So as you can see, it's still bright all around. I'm going to brighten up the computer a little bit. But this area right here was already bright, and I didn't want it any brighter. So then just click apply. You don't have to worry about the fade. And now you have successfully brightened your image. I'm going to show you one more time with a different image. And we're going to use this one. Some images are already pretty bright, so you want to be careful with the eye brighten. It's really just going to depend on the type of image that you upload. I don't know if you can see the difference as I go over the photo. Things are getting a little bit more clearer, a little bit more brighter. Now let's say you decide that that's not bright enough. You can slowly move the lighten button until you have it where you want. I like to go over it, make sure that I got all the areas, and again, apply, and you have a nicely brightened image. Another thing that I like to do is if I can't find a vertical image for my blog post, I will find a horizontal image that I feel like I could crop into a horizontal image. And so what I try to do is find the way how it would look best, cropped. And now, as you can see, we have a perfect horizontal image for Pinterest. So it's all in how you crop it. And it's going to depend on how, your aspect, but you can play around with it. Do you want it centered? Do you want it off to the side? How would you want to crop it? I would probably crop it like this because right here is my white space, and that would be where I would add my text. Last but not least, I want to show you how to make images from scratch. So we're going to go over here to design, and let's pretend that we want to make a Facebook image or an Instagram image or a quote. Okay, so we're going to leave this here, and we're going to go over to my Pinterest account. And I have a board filled with color schemes. And I like that because I can use those color schemes to make images on my own. I don't like to just use PicMonkey's colors. There's so many more color versions out there. You can check out my board, or you can make your own color scheme board by going to designseeds.com and pinning as many as you want. So for this one, I think I'm going to save this one. So I'm going to save it right here from Pinterest. And on my computer, I actually have a folder for my colors. All right, and I'm going to name this one so I can remember it. And now we're going to go to lunapic.com. So for this, I like to have 2 different photo editing sites up because it will be easier to get the colors that we want by doing it this way. Okay, so this is LunaPic. It's another photo editing program. I only use it for a couple things that PicMonkey can't do, but not very many, because I love using PicMonkey. All right, we just have to wait for this to open. We're gonna upload our flower color scheme. And we're going to use the same tool that we used on PicMonkey to pull these colors. So right up here is the little dropper. I'm going to click on it. All right, now it says click on the color wheel to select a color. We're not going to do that. We're going to click on our picture. So first we need to decide what we want our plain background over here to be. Do you want to do a dark background and lighter text, or light background and darker text? For today, I think I'm going to do this color. So when I click on that, it's going to give me the color code. So every color on the internet has a code, or at least that's what I call it. We're going to come over here to where these F's are, and we're going to paste our color code, hit enter, and now we have that color. And I'm going to apply. Now I'm going to come over here for text. And again, we're going to apply the same things that we've already learned. So let's say we wanted to write an inspirational quote. I'm going to use this one first. We're going to use the color code for the text. We're going to go right here to where the zeros are, paste, and hit enter. And now as you can see, we have that color captured over there. I am not creative when it comes to what to write. I have to have it in my head ahead of time. So we're just gonna go with it here. All right, so I'm gonna come back here. I wanna get my green. Personally, I like to try to use as many colors as possible. They're in the color scheme for a reason. They look good together. Oops. There we go. Let's do. Now this image is pretty large, but this is just for an example. So let's say you wanted to make a funny meme or you know, an inspirational quote or something like that. Here's how you can do it. You can crop it to make it smaller. You can resize it. You can, which is pretty cool, is that you can also use the overlays, and when you click your own, that means you can upload any of your own overlays to this image. So if you have, I can't find my, all right. If you have a, something that you want to put on there, or maybe your blog's name, or something that's already been created for you, this is a good way to do it. Or even a picture. So like, let's say you wanted to add a Facebook button. So as you can see, I just use that as my overlay. And we're going to use that to show that this image was created from me at Singing to the Rain. So I really like that you can put overlays in here. Make it big, you can make it small. Again, you can, if you wanted more for this image, you can, there's a lot more you could do. I would probably add some of this pearl color just to get some color in there. The thing that I tell everybody is to play around, see what looks good. Sometimes you don't know until you try. And so it's just best to try. Now let's say you wanted this to show up behind. Again, we're going to click on it, send it back. And now you have your stars that are behind there. And you can fade those stars if you want the text to show up a little bit more. Sometimes if I want everything to be the same, I'll see what my fade is at. So like, look, 13%. I want this to be the exact same thing. It's at 9%, so I'm gonna move it up to 13. Some people like to make it bigger or larger this way, but if you want it the same, again, I like to kind of see where we are with percentage and the numbers. So again, you can upload your own overlays. You can use the ones here. There's plenty of websites that will let you download them for free. Just make sure you read the rules before taking other people's images. If you have any more questions, you can email me at singingthroughtherain@gmail.com. I do create images for people and bloggers, but this is kind of how you can make your own professional image and in an easy couple of minutes, and that will help you get a lot of traffic back to your site.